personally belong to a family who migrated as a refugee from Pakistani Punjab.
So the diaspora does not give funds alone, but it also provides ideas, skills, and knowledge for developmental activities.
The internal migrant labor force in Europe that actually facilitated an industrial revolution.
The Sri Lankan Tamil diaspora has an identity of being a Tamil and being a Sri Lankan.
The links between education and mobility in the context of a very strong culture of migration.
UAE is the largest destination of Indian diaspora, followed by the United States of America.
Gulf outside Kerala has created a Gulf within Kerala itself.
Work from home is not for the migrant workers. They have to go outside and they have to work.
Today I'll be speaking on COVID-19 and Indian diaspora. And as you were speaking, that COVID-19 has posed many problems before not only diaspora, but everywhere, everyone throughout the world. So basically, I'll be focusing on diaspora from two countries, mainly US and UAE, because UAE is the largest destination of Indian diaspora, followed by United States of America. So how diaspora, because the topic of the seminar is evolving diaspora, challenges and prospects. So how the diasporic communities in these two countries evolved, and what kind of challenges they are facing due to COVID-19, what kind of role the diaspora people are playing throughout the world. Though we'll be focusing more on UAE and US, but we might take examples from other countries also here and there. So, but focus will be mainly on these two countries and how the government of India or the homeland for these Indian diaspora responded to the situation. So, as you were saying that still borders are closed because we are witnessing second round of COVID-19 across the world, and recently, in fact 2 days back, India has again started witnessing this rise, especially Kerala and Maharashtra. These are the two states where cases are rising since last 2-3 days, because we were somewhere getting casual and getting in fact we had thought that the situation, we have won the situation, or maybe we are out of COVID-19 because cases were reducing every day. But we again see the second round of COVID-19, and many European countries are closing down also. Because of this, borders are closing down. Now let us focus on diaspora and how it evolved basically. As per the latest report of IOM, in fact 2019 report of the IOM, it says that as you said also, that India has the largest diaspora throughout the world, and in fact the number stands, if we talk about this exact number, 17.5 million citizens of India are living in different countries, and in fact, it makes this Indian diaspora 6.4% of the total global migrant population. And as we know that UAE is the top most destination, followed by the United States of America. And if we include people of Indian origin also, it becomes 31 million. So globally, we have so much Indian people of Indian origin and Indian diaspora who are spread globally. And why did I choose these two countries only and why not others? Because first of all, these are the two countries where Indian people are Indian diaspora, number of Indian diaspora is quite large. And secondly, some kind of contrast can be seen in these two destinations, whereas US provides a different kind of situation. And in US, Indian diaspora enjoys different kind of privileges, whereas in UAE or GCC countries, I would say, the status of Indian diaspora or the problem they face is different, because here we have blue collar workers also. So if we talk about the United States of America, there are nearly 3 million individuals of Indian origin that are currently residing in the United States of America, and people from India uh, will not go much back, but will start from 60s. And people from India have migrated to US in 4 different phases. First phase we can term as early movers phase, which basically came in the wake of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 in the US, which replaced this quota system and decided to prefer these people who have skills and whose family members are there in the US. And many people joined in this wave or the early movers wave. Second phase of movement towards US was mainly for uniting with the family members who were already part of the United States of America, and nearly 30,000 relatives migrated to the US. And third phase can be described as the phase of IT generation, which was mainly invited to avoid the millennium meltdown, the Y2K problem. And because of that, US permitted Indians in large numbers, especially Indians who were specialized in computer sciences and software sectors. So third phase was related to basically to handle the problems or to avoid the problems of millennium meltdown. And the fourth phase is the most latest one, and that is related to H1B visa program, where visa is given to people from India or from different countries. Whereas in United States of America, Indian diaspora are mainly or they are mainly white collar workers. In GCC countries, majority of Indian diaspora are employed in blue collar work. So in fact, to be more precise, 70% of the Indians in GCC countries are employed in blue collar works, whereas only 30% are employed in white collar works. And Kerala is one of the most favorite state. In fact, majority of the people in GCC countries have migrated from. As per the data of Ministry of External Affairs, nearly 50% of the Indian diaspora are living in GCC countries of Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. Basically, was for different reasons. One reason was to unite with the family. Another reason was in what happened in all the 4 phases. The people from India moved to the US. They all were technically expert people, engineers, doctors, computer scientists. They mainly migrated to US. But if we talk about GCC countries, we see basically the economic boom because of the oil sector, which is hydrocarbon is the main source of economic. In fact, economies in GCC countries mainly survives on this hydrocarbon. So the people who migrated were not necessarily that skilled, though we see that 30% of the migrants to these GCC countries are white collar workers, but 70% are unskilled blue collar workers or semi skilled blue collar workers who are employed in different sectors, not only in oil and gas, but aviation also, construction also, tourism and hospitality industry. So different sectors they are employed in. So this was also one of the reasons that I wanted one country from the West and another country, because GCC countries are part of our in fact, a strategic extended neighborhood somewhere, and Indian policy towards these countries have been evolving, I would say. If not, I would not like to term this good or bad, but it has been continuously evolving. And during COVID-19, we'll see ahead when we move forward that during COVID-19, the humanitarian face of Indian diaspora also can be seen globally and especially in these countries. I'll not only restrict to these two countries while I'm focusing on the humanitarian face of Indian diaspora globally. But yes, these two countries are major host countries, and that is why we'll focus on these two countries. And not only they have contributed to the development of the coastland, but Indian diaspora has also contributed towards the development of their own country, because we receive remittances in millions of US dollars. And in fact, to be more exact, in 2019, from Indians diaspora from United States sent to India $83 million in 1 year, and similarly from GCC countries also nearly 43 million US dollar has been billion, in fact 40 billion US dollar has been transmitted to India. And other countries are also there like Fiji, Australia, and other countries from where remittances, we keep getting remittances. So Indian diaspora is not only playing important role in the development of the countries where they are at presently, but they are playing very important role in the development of their own country also, that is India also. So yes, the Indian diaspora in US, basically we were seeing that they are employed in white collar works, and because the reason being that they are mainly educated, they can speak very good English, and they are highest paid, and in fact they are fastest growing ethnic group in the US also. I don't mean by saying that they are highest paid, I don't mean that there is no poverty amongst Indian diaspora in the United States. There are data, in fact 2020 data itself says that there are segments of people, there are some sections of Indian diaspora in the United States also who are suffering from poverty, though the percentage is quite low. So the contributions of Indian diaspora has been immense, but suddenly we see COVID-19 taking over the world last year around the same time. So the cases had started being reporting throughout the world, but we in India came to realize the severity of this COVID-19 in February itself. So countries started closing borders because by then many countries, so China's situation was not known globally, but in European countries, especially Italy was the first country to face the severity of this COVID-19. The impact was very severe in Italy and other countries also, especially European countries, France, Germany, though Germany did very well on this front because they were able to handle and contain the spread of the disease, and countries after countries started closing borders. The result was many people uh, were stranded throughout the world in different countries, including Indian diaspora also, and the lives disrupted, economies badly impacted. Many people, in fact, millions of people who belong to Indian diaspora, not millions, exact numbers I'll be giving. So They got stranded in different countries throughout the world. So somewhere this COVID-19 situation posed a kind of challenge that was somewhere related to the existence of the human beings. But the problem of domestic violence also was increasing during this period, and violence against women was also increasing. I'm talking about cyber crime. So it was a comprehensive global problem, and when we look at the Indian diaspora, they were facing different kind of problem aside from these problems which we were facing globally. Why? Because many of them had lost their jobs, companies were closed, industries were shut down globally, and people were forced to live in their houses and work from there. Wherever it was possible to work from home, people were working. In fact, they were working more hours than they used to work before this COVID-19, and we are still doing that. We are working more hours, but where people required to be physically present, those sectors were most affected by the COVID-19, and Indian diaspora also faced the brunt of this COVID-19 pandemic because they had to go through a lot, basically because of economic factors we'll talk about here, and mainly focus here will be on tangible impacts rather than on intangible or mental and other aspects of the problem. We see that many challenges these people from Indian diaspora they were facing. In fact, we can term it existential crisis that Indian diaspora globally was facing due to because of COVID-19, and many new kind of situations developed as a challenge, uh, which the people from Indian diaspora had to go through, because they had, and in fact we had never imagined that we'll have to go through this kind of situation. Their identity somewhere was in question. They were facing the challenge of identity because uh, the country where they were living, the host land, we can say, they were no more employed there. Many people from Indian diaspora, in fact, number, if we talk about, let us talk about the exact number also. In Gulf country, nearly 3 lakh people had registered for return to India, and nearly 4 lakh from US had registered for return. So the people were suddenly left with no job. They found it hard to feed themselves to their family. Poverty was increasing globally, and Indian diaspora was also experiencing this poverty, aside from the health crisis and the mental problem which they were facing because of being locked down and not being able to lead normal life which they were used to leading before COVID-19. So a kind of comprehensive human crisis which posed existential problems in front of the Indian diaspora, and one of the challenge was related to their identity also, because there were many situations, if you see, where people who had migrated to different countries, uh, they were not in a position to sustain, especially if we talk about students, because students also migrate in large numbers because they have to go for higher studies. So in Australia, United States of America, and now latest, Germany is also emerging as one of the hot destinations attracting students from India. But the situation, the kind of mental agony which Indian diaspora was facing. They had never faced this kind of situation before. So while during COVID-19, while all the eyes were on frontline workers, health sector workers, millions in US and the UAE and GCC countries and other countries also, there was somewhere suffering silently uh, because the COVID-19 had created a situation where they were facing not only job loss and increasing poverty, but food insecurity was rising globally, and this was being felt as one of the major challenge other than this COVID-19. Though the COVID-19 was responsible for growing food security, insecurity, in fact, globally, but this was a crisis which many countries were trying, people in different countries were trying to handle at their own level. States were also getting involved in handling this crisis, and we sh- can remember the clippings of news where we saw many packets of food tied down in the on the railings of the roads, in fact the roadside railings. So people throughout the world were helping each other. In India also, Indian diaspora also has played very important role in feeding people who were hungry, and this fighting this crisis of food insecurity, which was the result of COVID-19 globally. Now, the immediate challenge which India faced because of COVID-19 and was the challenge of accommodating the returning diaspora, because people globally had lost job, they had nothing to do there, and many countries were not ready to take the burden of treating these people who do not belong to their own country, though they have played major role in the development of these countries. But at this moment, these countries refuse to keep these people, especially we are talking about Indian diaspora. So the people belonging to Indian diaspora to their own country, and we see several measures being taken by the United States of America. So the India faced this immediate challenge of returning diaspora. So we were talking about that from GCC countries, 3 lakh Indians had registered for return, and from uh, United States of America and United Kingdom also 4 lakh people had registered for return. In if we talk about Europe, many people, in fact 2 lakh, if I remember the exact data, because my son was also stranded in Europe, in Germany. So I was going through every news which was related to Europe, and so the greatest challenge was to bring them back to India and bring them back safe also, so that to ensure that they are also not infected, so that though they don't spread the disease or the infection in India also. So several measures were taken, and India started flying Vande Bharat flights. 2 missions, in fact, started by India: Samudra Setu Yojana and Samudra Setu Mission, uh, which brought Indians using waterways, and Vande Bharat mission, under which the Indian diaspora, they were flown back to India, and during this crisis. So you can see each people facing somewhere, though it was a comprehensive humanitarian crisis, somewhere we all uh, are unique in the experiences we have gone through this corona period. Though we can generalize many experiences, but each individual has his or her own story of the challenges they faced during COVID-19. And if we are talking about mainly, we are talking about Indian diaspora living in a land where they think they don't belong to. Then another challenge was ensuring health and well-being of Indian diaspora who were returning their returning to India. I would say most tangible challenge was to provide jobs to these returning diaspora, and India is still facing this problem of integrating them properly, because India has also gone through a situation where our economy is also suffering. People in India, not only who were here, but Indian people globally were involved in research and trying to develop vaccine also, if we see. Another challenge which Indian diaspora faced was related to remittance. And India also as country, as sending country, India also faced the challenge of remittances, reduced remittances, because Indian diaspora used to transfer large amount as remittance to India, and in dollar terms. So, and in fact, if you, I quote the Reserve Bank of India data, the flow of this inward remittances in 2017 helped the finance, in fact, trade help recovering this trade deficit in India by contributing 43%. So, India could overcome trade deficit due to these remittances. Now, COVID-19 posed this challenge in front of Indian diaspora also, because the economic condition do not permit them to transfer money to India. So, in the coming days, in the coming years, we'll see the remittances going down, and in fact, as per World Bank estimate, we see there will be 23% dip in the remittances to India. So Indian economy is going to be impacted in major ways. Again, if we quote one of the data of Asian Development Bank, in fact, in August 2020, Asian Development Bank, in its brief, the title of the brief was COVID-19 Impact on International Migration, Remittances and Recipient Households in Developing Asia. The bank predicts that India will be one of the most severely impacted regions to see the decrease in remittances. So, yes, India will be severely impacted because Indians have been transmitting quite large amount as remittances to India. So nearly 23% dip will be there as per Reserve Bank of India, and as per Asian Development Bank also, the dip will be there in the remittances which India receives, and Indian economy is going to be impacted. But if we see the roles played by the Indian diaspora globally, not only by India, but Indian diaspora also have played major role, especially in providing solution to the food insecurity, to the crisis of food insecurity, especially in United States of America. What happened? There is a forum in United States of America. So this forum, in fact, India's Fora, name of the forum is India's Fora. It launched a, in fact, campaign, Chalo Give to COVID-19. The name of the campaign was Chalo Give to COVID-19, and within 3 days, Indian diaspora was able in the United States of America was able to collect US dollar 5 lakh, in fact 5 million of US dollar, and they from their side they gave $1 million of matching grant to this campaign. And they identified two NGOs, one in India, that is name of the NGO in India was Gunj, and in US they identified Feeding America, and these NGOs were working on ground level. So people, Indian Diaspora, the platform through which Indian diaspora is related in United States of America. They played not only very important role, not only feeding Americans, Indian diaspora in India, in US, but also in feeding Indians, especially Indian migrants, Indian workers who were not in a position to feed themselves properly because they had nowhere to go, they had no job to rely on. So in this situation, we see Indian diaspora playing important role, not in, only in their host land, but also in their homeland also. And if we talk about the amount or the number of people fed by Indian diaspora through this platform of Diaspora in United States of America, and I'm not quoting very latest data. A few months back, the data has been taken few months back. So 37 million people who were facing food insecurity in the United States of America. This Diaspora, they tried to feed these people, and 140 million people, especially migrant workers and workers in India, they fed them during this COVID-19 crisis. So if we look at the response of India and Indian diaspora, yes, challenges were there, but response was quite unique and quite humanitarian also, not only feeding their own people but feeding people who were not getting food. Not only in, they were not that they were focused on Indian diaspora only. We know about cases where many doctors and many Indians living in United States of America and GCC countries, through their clubs, through various platforms, they provided food to frontline workers also, to doctors, to frontline workers, because they were continuously working and not in a position to do much for themselves. So yes, India has responded very well, and Indian diaspora also tried somewhere to turn this situation or the challenges they were facing into opportunity, and put forth their in fact humanitarian face, which they were able or in fact successful in doing so. And if we see India, the returning diaspora was major challenge. India has started, in fact, several states in India have started various programs in accommodating the returning diaspora and the returning migrant workers also within India. And in fact, this COVID-19 has started a development debate also, that what kind of development we should go for. Has neoliberal kind of or neoliberal policies, the development based on these neoliberal policies, being able to sustain itself globally, or do we need different kind of development? Should we focus on multiple centers of development? Because I personally feel that we should focus on multiple centers of development and develop our villages also. There can be many activities, and where villages can be converted into centers, into the centers where they can survive and earn money also. So the situation, challenges have been there, and we are gradually coming out of the challenges. In fact, we have learned to handle the challenges which COVID-19 has put forth, uh, in fact, in front of us. And I would like to wind up by quoting Ulrich Beck, because somewhere when Ulrich Beck was talking about world crisis society and manufactured uncertainty, somewhere I find the situation, COVID-19 situation, similar to the crisis which Ulrich Beck has talked about. I would quote Ulrich Beck. Uh, the uncertainty produced by industrial society does not result ineluctably in chaos or in catastrophe. Rather, incalculable uncertainty can also be a source of creativity, the reason for permitting the unexpected and experimenting with the new. Unquote. So, yes, if we see the challenges, or whenever we are faced with this kind of challenges or uncertainty, which COVID-19, we all are facing during COVID-19, be it Indian diaspora or any other people globally. So it has not only created a situation where we are facing uncertainty, but in terms of Ulrich Beck, the same kind of uncertainty or these incalculable uncertainty can be a source of creativity also. And we see in India and Indian diaspora being creative during this period, creatively deciding to take up or entering sectors which earlier they might not have thought. I was going through one article where European countries are emerging as uh, this in fact one of the destinations attracting people, and the study was saying that uh, after post COVID period, many people who were Indian part of Indian diaspora in Europe, they were planning to return earlier. They had gone there for some period and they were planning to return to India. Now they are planning to stay there, buy their house there, and stay there permanently because of the public healthcare system being in place and doing very well in these countries. So thank you for with these words. Thank you for listening to me patiently.